Could you ever have imagined? And actually, what does the success of this book say about society?
No, thank you for that question. Because, I do tend to get, as you've heard, I'm extremely alarmed about these trends, and these are gigantic threats beyond what anyone can imagine. But here's the amazing thing, is that we can reverse this for almost no money, and it's completely bipartisan, and it's not that hard to do, and we're doing it. And so what happened was, I wrote the book as an American, assuming that we don't have a functioning legislature, the Congress can be stopped, we have a vetocracy, the social media companies can stop anything in the House. So I wrote this assuming, we'll never get legislation. So we have to do this on our own. And I proposed 4 norms: no smartphone before high school, no social media before 16, phone-free schools, and far more independence, free play, responsibility in the real world. So 4 norms. We can try to do this with collective action locally at the school level. 2 things that surprised me. One are that immediately governors from red states and blue states started reaching out to me. Our states actually function. Our states have governments that are accountable to the people and that are trying to get good results. And so this has been a totally bipartisan issue. Sarah Huckabee Sanders from Arkansas was one of the very first. Kathy Hochul also. And it tends to be more female legislators and governors or spouses of heads of state. The book really spoke to moms, because moms around the world, they felt the kids being pulled away. I believe they felt it viscerally more than the dads did. Also, the dads kind of like the video games. They're a little more pro-tech. So I think the moms felt the pain more and took it more personally. So when the book came out, mothers around the world jumped into action, formed groups, pushed for legislation, and changes began happening. I was in Davos and then London and Brussels 2 weeks ago. And what I saw was a complete sea change in the world's thinking about how we need to have age limits on social media and other tech. And here's what I think just happened. It's so cool. It just dawned on me literally while I was in London. Like, I was pushing on open doors everywhere. Wherever I went, people wanted to do this. I went to the EU. They want to do this. Like, what is happening? And what I realized is this. Steven Pinker has a book out last year called When Everyone Knows That Everyone Knows. It's about the immediate change in a social system when private knowledge, everybody knows that the emperor has no clothes. Everybody knows that this, ideology doesn't work. Everybody knows that, but they don't all know that everybody else knows it and that everybody else knows that. And so in The Emperor's New Clothes, everybody thought I don't think he has any clothes on, but maybe only wise people can see it. But when the child says, the emperor has no clothes, and then in the Hans Christian Andersen story, it says, and the people began whispering to each other, and then they all cried out in unison. And that's what happened when Australia's law went into effect. So I believe that December 10th of last December was the global turning point in the battle to reclaim childhood. And if we reclaim that, we move on to our attention and adult life as well. What happened on December 10th, the Australia law went into effect, the sky didn't fall, people weren't locked out of their accounts, all the companies complied. They shut down 5 million accounts for Australia's 3.5 million kids that were underage, 2.5 million kids. The sky didn't fall. And there was a lot of news coverage around the world of what Australia was doing. And a lot of the news coverage included opinions from the writers saying, why can't we do that? Hey, let's do that here. And when everybody saw that everybody was looking at Australia and saying, let's do that here, then everybody knew that this is just completely bonkers to have children being raised on social media platforms, talking with anonymous strangers and being fed algorithmically curated garbage. So I believe that that's why 2026 is going to be the year when at least 15 countries are going to commit to passing an age minimum law. In 2025, it was 1, Australia. And now we already have Indonesia. Their law goes into effect in March. I met with Macron in Davos, and a few days he was preparing to push a bill through the assembly, and he got it. He's the first in the EU, but a lot of other countries in the EU are going to follow. The whole EU is likely to do it. So yes, I am incredibly alarmed about how big this problem is, but I'm incredibly inspired that the whole world is rising up to do something about it. We actually can control our fate, and that was not clear before December 10th.
Bravo. As a mother, that was the first thing I said to you. First thing I said to you was thank you as a mom for changing my family's life.
Thank you, Aditi.
It's a really special accomplishment, Jonathan. There's no real words that I could say that could quite capture the long-term impact that that's going to have on billions of people's lives. And not just the direct, but also the indirect. in all the ways we've described, their ability to form connections, to fall in love, to find meaning and purpose in their lives, and their neuroscience, and therefore the neuroscience of their children and their children's children and so on. So it's a really overwhelming accomplishment.
It was a bizarre situation that I walked into with the unique abilities of a social psychologist. That is, everybody was upset about this. Everybody could see it, but they thought, well, this is my problem, or in my family we have this problem. And I came to this with fresh eyes. My dissertation was on moral development. I'd studied adolescent behavior longer ago in my career, and I've written about it in all my books, so it wasn't totally new to me. But I came into the field of social media studies around 2018, 2019. I really immersed myself in it. And it was like, you walk in and immediately you see, wait, this is a trap. People are on it because people are on it. And the kids are complaining about it. Everyone's complaining about it. And the only reason they can't get off is because everyone else is on it. So I think I was able to see that. And then also COVID confused us for a few years. So it wasn't until COVID was in the rearview mirror that it was possible for everybody to say, wait, this is crazy. And so I was incredibly lucky in terms of the timing. My book happened to come out in March of 2024, just as the world was ready to see like, wait, what have we done to our kids? Let's undo it.
And you said you're now focusing more on short form video.
So yes, so in studying older Gen Z, these are the people who went through puberty on Instagram. If I could just lay out that it's very important to get the timing, that everyone understands the timing, because this is what you mentioned, the poly crisis before. The poly crisis, I believe, begins between 2010 and 2015, and here's why. So we've had the internet for a long time, and it was marvelous. We loved the internet in the 90s. It's going to be the best friend of democracy, okay? And then the iPhone comes out. It's amazing. Oh my God, there's so many things. Everything seems great. Okay, so in 2010, almost all of us have flip phones. The iPhone's spreading, but it's still mostly flip phones. Teens are all on flip phones, basic phones, and we call those people millennials. If you finished puberty by if you were born in, say, 1990, and you start puberty in 2002, you're done by 2008, so in there. If you got through puberty before you got on Instagram, you're a millennial. Whereas if you're born, say, if you're born after 1995, but let's say if you're born in the year 2000, you begin puberty in 2012, and you're not done until 2016, 2018.